Senator Young's original bill changed the adjournment date from the first Thursday in June to the first Thursday in May. But before passing in the Senate, the adjournment date was changed to the second Thursday in May, which only shortens the legislative session by 9 days. 35 of the Fireflies' home games will end with a firework display. Homeowners in surrounding neighborhoods, like here in Cottontown, all have mixed feelings about the display. We came here to the Study Abroad office to see if they were advising students not to travel to Europe at this time, but they didn't want to speak with us. Temperatures are expected to be in the low 30s on Saturday night into Sunday morning. The National Weather Service has issued a freeze watch for the Columbia area, and that has some farmers a little worried these plants might not be here come Monday morning. The first 2 bombs detonated at 8 a.m. inside the Brussels airport.
My stomach dropped, and it kind of took a while to process what was going on.
We spoke with Carly Lopper by Skype. She is a USC student studying abroad in Brussels. She was flying back from a weekend trip to France when the bombs went off in the Brussels airport.
A lot of military. There's military everywhere. Your store just opened, but you have to go through security to get through.
Lopper says the Study Abroad office at USC reached out to her to make sure she was safe.
Got emails both from my advisor from USC, the Study Abroad office, and then another official from the Study Abroad office. And all of them were just like, hey, check in, I hope you're okay.
Lopper says that they then emailed her telling her all USC students in Belgium were accounted for and offered her counseling if she needed it. Due to the bombings, the State Department has issued a traveler alert for all of Europe until June 20th. Although not a restriction, the State Department is urging Americans traveling to Europe to be extra vigilant when in public places. The State Department says terrorist groups have planned attacks and to stay away from sporting events, tourist sites, restaurants, and transportation hubs. We came here to the Study Abroad office to see if they were advising students not to travel to Europe at this time, but they didn't want to talk with us. Scott Farrand, a USC professor in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, is planning a Maymester trip to Germany for multimedia students.
What we'll do is probably restrain some of the activities we actually do and be a little more cautious than we do.
Allie Blissett is a USC student who is going on that trip with Farrand. She says she feels safe knowing Farrand will be with her.
And he truly feels like in Germany, they do already have a lot of safety precautions. There's always police out in the street.
While Blissett may have had some concerns about heading to Europe, Lopper says she still recommends traveling abroad.
But this stuff can happen anywhere, and you shouldn't let it stop you from living your life and doing what you want to do.
Kevin Smarr, Carolina News.
Senate will please come to order. Members and guests.
South Carolina has one of the longest legislative sessions in the country, but a new bill that has just passed through the Senate could change the legislative session.
There's a lot of states that have a much shorter session than South Carolina. For example, Georgia has a mandatory 40-day session. They've already concluded their session in 2016.
Senator Tom Young is the main sponsor of the bill. He says he introduced the bill for one big reason.
So the bottom line is the bill will shorten the session, and a shortened session means savings to the taxpayers of this state.
Young says that his bill will save taxpayers almost $350,000 a year. Those savings come from cutting members' weekly per diem and their mileage reimbursement. The senator from Aiken also said he proposed the bill for one other reason.
By shortening that time period, we would enable more people to at least be able to consider serving in the General Assembly. There's a lot of folks who aren't retired, who have full-time jobs, who cannot get to Columbia at least 3 days a week for what currently is, with all practical purposes, basically a 6-month session.
Senator Young's original bill changed the adjournment date from the first Thursday in June to the first Thursday in May. But before passing in the Senate, the adjournment date was changed to the second Thursday in May, which only shortens the legislative session by 9 days. The bill has passed the Senate and has been referred to the House Judiciary Committee.
If the House amends the bill in any way, then the bill has to come back to the Senate for the Senate to consider the bill as amended by the House.
While some people think this bill will cut how much work legislators get done in session,
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Young seems to think that it will not be a problem.
So in South Carolina, if we shorten the session, we're going to still get the business done. We're just going to have to be more efficient with our time.
Kevin Smarr, Carolina News. Strawberry season has just started this week in Columbia. Here at Cottle Farms in Hopkins, strawberry seeds that were planted after the historic flood are just beginning to bloom.
We probably would have lost our crop if we would have planted in early October or right when the rain was hitting, but luckily we missed it by a week.
But while Hunter Bullock's crops have survived one disaster, he is now bracing for another. Temperatures are expected to be in the low 30s on Saturday night into Sunday morning. The National Weather Service has issued a freeze watch for the Columbia area, and that has some farmers a little worried these plants might not be here come Monday morning. Bullock says they will work all day Saturday to make sure the frost does not freeze and ruin their strawberries.
It's very labor intensive. We have white sheets that we have in between every 9 rows, and we have to pull all the sheets and cover the entire 18 acres out here, and then we have these rock bags that hold on the sheets to keep the wind from blowing.
Bullock says he is lucky to have never had a total crop loss from the frost.
If we did frost and we would not cover them, then we would lose the majority, if not our entire crop.
Bullock says that the weather is not always friendly to South Carolina farmers, but it's all a part of being a farmer.
It's the risk of being a farmer. We're gamblers.
And Bullock isn't gambling with this weather, hoping his strawberry season can last a little longer. Kevin Smarr, Carolina News.